Hi all, welcome to a new video and web application penetration testing tutorial. Today, we are going to have an overview to Kali Linux tools, then, we will briefly discuss each one to get a good understanding about them. So, let's start. As we discussed before, Kali Linux is a Linux-based operating system, mostly used in penetration testing. Kali.org has recently released its new update with some extra functionalities. And there are different types of tools that are present in Kali Linux to perform different operations. As shown in the table, tools are categorized according to their purposes. There are some tools for information gathering, others are for vulnerability analysis and so on. Today, we are going to give a quick overview on each category of these categories to learn more about tools included in each category. Let's start with information gathering tools. These software or applications have a job of collecting and formatting the data in a form that could further be used. This is similar to cookies used by different websites or your browsing history used by Google to personalize every formulating captured data. Some of the tools are Map, which is one of the most common information gathering tools that can allow us to gather all the information on the network and have a clear network map. ZenMap, which has the same job like Map, but it has a graphical user interface, which is preferable for those who don't like using terminal tools like Nmap. Stealth Scan, this is a kind of scan that can allow us to gather many useful information about the network like the running services and servers located on the network. Map is the most famous in these tools, and to start using any of the information gathering tools, you have to go to Applications, then under Information Gathering category, you will find all these tools. Next, let's discuss vulnerability analysis tools. Vulnerability is a state or condition of being exposed to the possibility of being attacked or harmed in one or the other way. These tools are used to check a system or machine for any kind of flow and vulnerability available in them, which could lead to any security breach and data loss. These tools also help in fixing those vulnerability as identification make the user aware of the flow. For example, if Windows release its new operating system, before providing it into the end user they send for vulnerability analysis and fixes. Some of the tools: BED, SFuzz, SIP Army Knife. There are some tools for web application analysis. Web application is a dynamic response web page that helps in a better and interactive client-server relationship. These tools identify and access websites through the browser to check any bug or loophole present, which could lead any information or data to lose. For example, there is a website with a payment gateway, then these web analyzers check if sufficient authentication and authorization present of the site. These web application uses: SQL injections, denial of service, URL manipulation. Some of the tools are Burp Suite, SQLmap. Also, there are some tools for database analysis. These applications are made to access the database and analyze it for different attacks and security issues. These assessment shows some opportunities for improvement and changes, and they develop a report of the analysis done on the database system. They perform configuration checking, examining user account, privilege and role grants, authorization control. Some tools are BBQSL, JSQL injection, AScanner, SQLmap, SQLninja, TMSCMD10G. SQLmap is the most famous database assessment tool. It injects SQL injection for scanning, detecting, and exploitation. There is another category for password cracking tools. These are basically a collection of tools that could handle the word list or password list to be checked on any login credentials through different services and protocols. And some tools are word list collectors and some of them are the attacker. Some of the tools are Cruel, Crunch, Hashcat, John, Johnny, Medusa. John the Ripper and Medusa are the most famous tools. There are some tools specific for wireless attacks tools. These tools are wireless security crackers, like breaking Wi-Fi routers, working and manipulating access points. Wireless attacks are not limited to password cracking. These are also used in information gathering and knowing behavior of victims over the internet. For example, the victim is connected to a compromised access point or a fake access point, then it can be used as a man-in-the-middle attack. Some of the tools are Kismet, Ghost Fisher. AirCrackNG and Ghost Fisher are the most famous tools. And there are some tools for reverse engineering. Reverse engineering is to break down the layers of the applications or software. This is used in creating cracks and patches for different software and services. These tools reach the source code of the application, understand its working and manipulate according to needs. For example, reverse engineering tools are also used by high-end companies to know the logic and idea behind the software. Some of the tools are App Tools, Allidbij, Flasm. Most famous tools are Allidbij and App Tools. Another category for exploitation tools. These tools are used to exploit different systems like personal computers and mobile phones. These tools can generate payloads for the vulnerable system, and through those payloads information from the devices can be exploited. For example, the victim's system is compromised using payloads over internet or installing it if physically accessible. Some of the tools are Armitage, Metasploit, Searchesploit, BeefXSS Framework, Terminator. The most famous tool is Metasploit. There are courses to learn Metasploit alone. Now, let's move to another category, which is the category of sniffing and spoofing tools. So, what is sniffing? Secretly accessing any unauthorized data over network is sniffing. But hiding real identity and creating fake identity and use it for any illegal or unauthorized work is spoofing. IP spoofing and MAC spoofing are two famous and mostly used attacks. Some tools include Wireshark, BetterCap, AterCap, Hamster, DriftNet. The most used tool is Wireshark. Another category found in Kali Linux are Postexploitation Tools. These tools use backdoors to get back to the vulnerable system, i.e. to maintain access to the machine. As the name suggests, these are useful or mostly used after an attack has previously been made on the victim's machine. For example, after an attack victim removed the vulnerability from the system. In this situation, if attacker wants to access data again, then these tools are helpful. Some of the tools include Metasploit Framework or MSF, Veil Pillage Framework, Powersploit. And the most famous tool is Powersploit. As discussed before, Kali Linux can be used in digital forensics as well, therefore there is a special category for digital forensics tools are included in Kali. These tools are used by forensic specialists to recover information from any system or storage devices. This helps in collecting information during evidence searching for any cybercrime. Some of the tools include Galetta, Hashdeep, Volafox, Volatility. And the most famous tool is Autopsy. It has also been used by security forces, many judicial and investigating officials. One of the most common attacks nowadays is social engineering attacks. And Kali Linux has a special category for social engineering tools. As the name suggests, these tools generate similar services that people use in daily life and extract personal information using those fake services. These tools use and manipulate human behavior for information gathering. For example, phishing is one of the examples of social engineering. In this, a similar looking home page of any social platform is created and then login details are compromised. Some of the tools include SET, Backdoor F, U3PWN, Ghost Fisher. Finally, there is a category for reporting tools. After all, the assessment and vulnerability testing analysts have to report all those to the client in an organized and authenticated way. These tools develop statistics and information to help in analyzing. Some of the tools include Drades, Faraday IDE, People, Magic Tree. And now, we have discussed briefly each category of Kali Linux tools categories. Wish you have got good understanding of today's tutorial. Looking forward to hear from you if you have any comments. Thanks.